I don't know how to start this. I don't, what the hell's going on? Like, why are the people that I admire, people I grew up with, people that inspire me, are just dying off? I mean, earlier this year we lost Juwario, and now fucking Ultimate Warrior. Like, he just was like, you just saw him. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame on Saturday night. Sunday night, he gets his own entrance at Mania for his Hall of Fame induction. And then the following night on Monday Night Raw, he gets to come out and cut a promo, putting over the new stars, and saying that us old guys, our time has come, our time has passed, look to the future, and great warriors never die. He was speaking of death. It's almost like he knew. Now, there's no official word yet. I mean, coroners have to do autopsies. Rumors are going around that he OD'd on drugs. I think TMZ's reporting that he just collapsed outside of his car Tuesday night, just getting there, and then was pronounced dead on the scene when he got to the hospital. First person to break the news was Triple H on his Twitter, and then WWE.com confirmed it. And you're just wondering to yourself, why? Like, did he know it was his time? Like, it's too much of a coincidence that it goes this happy weekend where he buries the hatchet with WWE and Vince and all the boys, and is given the spotlight to say thank you to the fans and have the fans embrace him, and then come out on Monday night and still be embraced. And he can't come out in face paint, but he still puts on a mask, and he's like shaking the ropes, and he's doing his warrior thing, and now he's fucking gone, man. Like, why? Like, we'll know in the coming days, but just god damn it. Like, I'm gonna give you guys my memories of Warrior and how he probably was my favorite beyond Hogan. Now, as a young lad, I lived in a quiet part of like a very, very, very rural area. I lived out in the woods. I lived near the mountains. So we couldn't have cable television. It was only until I moved out that my family decided to buy a satellite dish, because it was only my little brother living with my mom and dad. So we were very limited in the amount of pro wrestling we could actually watch. On a good day, if we got one of the 2.5 channels that we had, we could watch abbreviated versions of Monday Night Raw and WCW Nitro, and I think maybe Superstars. And for us folks in the Maritimes, on our local stations, we would get Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. So we would see the guys that would eventually be in WWE, like Edge and Christian, who worked in the Maritimes as Sexton Hardcastle and Christian Cage, respectively. I mean, if you watch Edge's DVD, his last one, they talk a great deal about that. So yeah, we would only get like Superstar. We would just get like the jobber shows, or the Superstar would come out, beat up a no name for like 2 seconds, and then get put over. So we never got like Saturday night's main event or any of these things where it was Superstar on Superstar and they were building storylines. Most of the time it was my dad would know somebody at work, and he would tape the good shows for us. So he would tape, because he had like kids back in the day. We didn't have like these little tiny satellite dishes that were like this big around for Star Choice or Bell Express View or whatever satellite provider was at the time. We had these big fucking huge ones that like you swear could broadcast out into space and try to contact another living society. So my dad's friend would always get he would always get shows that were in syndication. So like he would get Jim Crockett promotions. That's where I learned of the Midnight Express and Vader and Sting and Jim Cornette and all the WCW guys and Flair. And then he would also give us the WWE guys. So that's where I got to know the Rockers, Andre, Hogan, and Warrior. And the one thing I'll always remember is WrestleMania 6, Hogan versus Warrior, title for title. I don't remember a goddamn thing about the rest of the pay-per-view. All I remember as a little 7 or 8-year-old kid whenever I watched WrestleMania 6 was Hogan Warrior and how epic it was. And I don't even, you know what, I'm going to go pull up the match list and like, alright, here it is. Okay, so minus one dark match, which was Pretty Paul Roma against the Brooklyn Brawler in a dark match. There were 14 matches that night. I'm looking to the list. I don't remember any of them. I'm going to read them off to you real quick. Rick Martel versus Coco Beware. Don't remember it. Demolition versus the Colossal Connection. Andre the Giant and Haku for the titles. Don't remember it. Don't even remember Andre's face turn. Earthquake versus Hercules. Don't remember it. Brutus Beefcake vs. Mr. Perfect. Don't remember it. Roddy Piper versus Bad News Brown, where Roddy Piper was in half blackface. Don't remember it. Heart Foundation versus the... I don't even know how to pronounce this. It's the Nikolai Volkov and some Boris guy. Don't remember it. Barbarian versus Tito Santana. Don't remember it. Dusty Rose and Sapphire versus Savage and Sherry. Don't remember it. Oriental Express versus the Rockers. Don't remember it. Jim Duggan versus Dino Bravo. Don't remember it. Ted DiBiase against Jake Roberts. Don't remember it. Bossman versus Akeem with Slick. Don't remember it. Rick Rude versus Jimmy Snuka. Don't remember it. All I remember is Warrior Hogan. That's all I remember. And I remember when Warrior won, I was so excited. And then when Hogan passed the torch, I was even more excited. And then Hogan went off to do, I don't know if he did Thunder in Paradise or No Holds Barred. I could care less. So, another thing that impacted me was like the look of the Warrior, like his face paint. Whenever I went to work functions with my dad, like he had like, you know, picnics, whatever. His work for putting on picnics with families. And there would be people there to face paint. And my brother was a Turtles fan. And I was a Turtles fan too. My brother would always get face paint for Turtle. So he'd always get like, you know, they paint his face green and then they'd give him a bandana. And they're just like, do you want to be a turtle? I said, no. Give me Ultimate Warrior. And anytime I was at a function, I was always Ultimate Warrior. I didn't know too much about it. Like I said, we didn't have cable, so I couldn't follow Warrior all that much to his WWE title run to anything else, to WCW. I'm super tired. I couldn't sleep all that well. I'm not super emotional like I was when Justin passed. Like, but still, this is stupid. Why did this have to happen? If you never saw Warrior as a kid, I don't think you could really understand. If your only exposure to the Ultimate Warrior was that piece of shit DVD I wiped my ass to called The Self-Destruction of the Ultimate Warrior, where it's nothing but a, hey, this guy was ridiculous. You know what? It was the 80s. Everyone was ridiculous. I mean, I just mentioned Akeem, the African Dream. He was a white dude wearing dashikis. with a one-man gang with a horrible gimmick. Guess what? The 80s were filled with horrible gimmicks. Because no one remembers the technical prowess of most wrestlers. Unless, it's Bret Hart in every interview saying that he's the goddamn best. Back in that era, and still in this era, doesn't matter how good of a wrestler you are. I mean, Dolph Ziggler can bump like a boss, but if he doesn't have a good character or good mic skills, no one's going to remember him. It's all about the gimmick. It's all about the entertaining. Warrior had a good gimmick. Warrior was entertaining. Wasn't that great of a wrestler, but it didn't matter back then. All it mattered was that you kept the fans happy, you sent them home happy. It didn't matter if you botched this move or botched this move. And that's what Warrior was. In an era in Vince McMahon's company where everyone's a cartoon, everyone's super animated, the Ultimate Warrior, along with Hogan and Savage and guys like the Honky Tonk Man, were the most animated, most over because of their gimmicks. I mean, I can't remember a good Honky Tonk Man match. Can't do it. Like, I remember he was a Elvis impersonator, and he was damn good on the mic, and he was a good entertainer. So don't, like, if you've only experienced like this stuff on YouTube, like you're about to enter the world of the Warrior, and he's doing those crazy promos. Like, back then, promos didn't matter. Like, you could say anything as long as you finished up with, "Rick Rude, I will take you down, and I will still be Intercontinental Champion." Who cares what else he said about loading the spaceship with the rocket fuel, or the air that I breathe only smells of combat, with or without the face paint. I am the Ultimate Warrior. That's what made him awesome. And then you watch this DVD, and Bobby Heenan, everyone's like, "You can't do interviews. You would sit there and rave and look at the stars." It's like, you didn't need to in WWE. NWA, yeah, because they didn't want cartoony characters, so it was more about the story, and they were a little bit more adult. This is how wrestling was back then. I think I'm just rambling on now. Like I said, if you've only experienced Warrior through that DVD, you're doing yourself a disservice. Yes, he was crazy. Yes, he was kooky. Yes, his Warrior comic didn't make any sense. But you know what? He was awesome. He entertained. He was damn good at it. And in his final moments, he buried the hatchet. He was embraced by the WWE and the fans. If this was the last thing that Jim Hellwig, Ultimate Warrior, ever did, he left on a high note. I just wish that he could have stuck around for a little bit longer with us. Did I want him back in the ring? Of course not. He's 54 years old. Obviously, his time has passed. But I want him to still be some type of ambassador. Like, I mean, Shawn Michaels has not wrestled since Mania 26 when Undertaker retired him. But he's still an ambassador. He shows up to live events. He still shows up to Raw to kind of put over the new guys. He does the panels to put over the new guys as well. Like, he's still active. Same with like Foley and Hogan and Rock and Austin. Like, everyone will come back to like get a good pop and but put over the new guys. And that's what I was hoping Warrior could have done. Is come in, just like, have two guys in his spuckle, and then all of a sudden you hear the music and he comes down and he cuts a promo, and just putting you guys over. So those are my memories of Warrior. I've always had nothing but good memories about Warrior. Even with that schlock DVD that they produce. Now I'm hoping that, out of respect for Warrior, that they'll produce a more positive one. We'll have to wait and see, because the one that came out was basically a shoot fest and maybe one or two matches. I'm sure if you can dig through the archives of WWE, you can find a lot more decent matches with Warrior. Anyways, I had to get this out of my chest. Maybe I can sleep a little bit better. I'm gonna go lay down on that couch down there and see if I can catch some Z's that I missed, tossing and turning, thinking about this. I'll be back with more positive videos in the future, but for now, rest in peace, Ultimate Warrior. He is now in the train. Okay, before I go, just trying to end this. Before I go, I want everyone to go to SpoonieExperiment.com. Late last night, Noah, Spoonie One, him and Linkara did a live stream, just basically showing off their videos. They've done 3 videos, and Linkara did a 4th one by himself, all reviewing the Warriors comics. Now, Warriors comics were they're nonsensical, they were silly, but they made for entertainment. So, if you guys want a good laugh, and look at 2 guys that are reviewing a bad comic but have complete love and respect for the Warrior, go watch those videos. I was going to say, based on those comics, that Warrior has ascended to the terrain of Testament. I don't know how to... I suck at ending videos. Anyways, rest in peace, Warrior. You will never be forgotten.